Fast and accurate code navigation is one of the biggest challenges when we're preparing for the API or National Board Inspection certifications. Many people feel that they need to spend time memorizing paragraph numbers, tabbing and marking up documents, highlighting code paragraphs as they study. But for the most part, that's a complete waste of time and energy. You don't need to memorize a single solitary paragraph number in order to prepare for these exams. You don't have to tab or mark up your documents at all. What you need to do to be fast and accurate in code navigation is understand three basic concepts. And if you do, you'll be faster and more confident in the exam, and you'll be a better inspector in real-life code use as well. What the three concepts are, and they're deceptively simple, they are number one, exam context, number two, exam authority, and number three, code structure. The first concept was exam context. And what this means is when you are looking at an exam question, you're not thinking about everything you know about a subject based on what you do back at your shop, your company, your jurisdiction. You work within the exam. For example, in my jurisdiction where I live and work, API 510 is not an authority that we use. But when I'm writing the API 510 exam, it is. So according to exam context, I need to answer not from my real world experience, I need to answer within the exam context. The second concept is exam authority. Exam authority recognizes that each document does something different in the exam. So for example, we have a starting point for every subject, such as if I was to ask you about the subject of welding in the API 510 exam. Welding is mentioned in many different documents throughout the exam. But if you were asked about welding during the temporary repair of a vessel, well, the authority for vessel repairs is API 510. So we start there. It may be that the 510 code will send me somewhere else, such as Section 9 or PCC 2 for more detail, but I will always find the correct answer. I'll always be right if I start with the exam authority. The third concept was understanding the code structure. And this is where we can really make some time in our preparation. I don't have to memorize dozens of code paragraphs. I don't have to have that mental burden. Understanding the code structure allows me to know that there's a specific spot in each code for each subject. Once I understand the structure, the organization of the code, I can find complex references by simply going to that area. You identify the subject in the exam question, and you go to that subject in the applicable code. In the example that we were using earlier of a temporary repair on a pressure vessel, repairs are found in Chapter 8 of API 510. And once in that chapter, temporary repairs are found in paragraph 8.2. I don't need to memorize that temporary repairs are in paragraph 8.2. That's wasted effort. I just have to have an overall view of what each chapter in 510 covers, and I can immediately go there. So continuing with this example of a temporary repair in a pressure vessel, if an exam question asked you something detailed, such as what is the required joint efficiency that would permit a temporary lap band repair to be made on an in-service vessel, the three concepts that we've looked at would look like this. Understanding exam context allows me to focus only on what the exam documents say. I don't have to think about every single lap band repair I've ever been involved with or what would happen in my jurisdiction or anything else like that. I simply focus on what the code says in the exam. It simplifies the amount of mental bandwidth I have to bring to this. Understanding exam authority allows me to go immediately to the correct code. Temporary repairs are only carried out on in-service vessels. Requirements are only found in codes. So I'm going to find the answer for a temporary repair requirement in the in-service vessel repair code, API 510. And understanding and being familiar with the code structure allows me to avoid unnecessary memorization of paragraph numbers, and I simply know that Chapter 8 of 510 is where the repairs are. Chapter 8 is only 9 pages long. So when I'm asked the question about the temporary repair, I go straight to API 510, Chapter 8, and now I've narrowed down from thousands of pages of code that were available to me in the exam to 9 pages in API 510, Chapter 8. And very quickly, either by looking at my bookmarks or a quick scroll down looking at the headings, I will find what I need to know about the joint efficiency for a temporary lap band repair. Our courses explain this concept in much more detail. That's all for now. I really hope that was helpful. So make sure and reach out, give us a follow, and stay safe out there.